Beethoven's Seventh was one of his most instantly popular. Beethoven may have been pretty much deaf, but his imagination continues to astonish. The symphony starts with this slow introduction. It's expansive. It's basically an entire movement in itself, with two fully formed themes and considerable development. Here is the first theme, the unfolding of the symphonic world. The second theme alternates with the first one twice, in distant keys. Eventually, after this expansive introduction, it gives rise to this dactylic rhythm, which pervades almost every bar of the movement, kind of like how the first notes of Beethoven's Fifth pervade every bar of that movement. And so begins the first movement, which is in sonata form. This is the first subject. And to me, the second subject begins like this. Most of the development section is based on the first theme. One of the most original bits of the development is this round, or canon, which starts the development. And so on. The development reaches a stormy climax. But then enters the joyful recapitulation. And the recapitulation starts triumphant, but it has some surprising differences from the exposition. For example, just as we think we are reaching the climax of the first theme, he does this. And then gives the theme an amazing new harmonic makeover. Anyway, the recapitulation continues until it reaches its climactic end, at which point Beethoven cheekily slips down a semitone, changing to a very distant key for his coda. Not the first time he's pulled that trick. After this, he moves through his keys seamlessly and prepares a long and climactic build-up until a triumphant A major on that never-ending rhythm. If the first movement ends on this chord, then the second movement begins on this chord. A bit of a shock as we shift to A minor. At its first performance, this slow movement was an instant success and was given an encore, a thing which slow movements very rarely experience. Its popularity grew so much that, at one time, directors used to insert it into the Eighth Symphony to make Beethoven's comic Eighth a little more dramatic. I almost feel like any quotations are unnecessary here. It's just so impactful and tends to have a pretty immediate effect on people. The best thing you can do is go listen to it. But just for a quick go, the structure is a kind of A-B-A-B-A form. After a quiet, pulsing introduction, we hear one of Beethoven's most expansive melodies. And this grows and grows until it's almost overwhelming. And there's a completely contrasting, brighter second subject which alternates with it. At one point, he even turns the first subject material into a kind of fugue. as always, the best way to discover these things is just to go listen to it, either live or with good headphones or speakers. The third movement is a scherzo. Here is the main theme. And so on. And Beethoven develops and expands this idea brilliantly. And the trio starts with this different, royal pace of life. Which is soon drawn out in marvellous full force. As far as scherzo movements go, it's an extremely fun, varied and well thought out piece, definitely worth listening to. The finale is also in sonata form, and it's a whirlwind of excitement. Its main theme is this. And it continues on like this. Then there's this great transition theme. The second subject is this. And so it goes on in a whirlwind of drama. It's a wild ride until finally the coda, which, as Beethoven loves to do, slams us into a completely different key again. And from there, it's tension, climax, excitement and joy. A wild ride right until the end. As always, the best way to enjoy this is to go and listen, and I hope this guide can just help you along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to support this channel or buy me a coffee to say thank you, you can visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/InsideTheScore. If you like this guide, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you very soon.